If you watched our previous video on end-to-end encryption, you might be wondering if the messaging company cannot read my messages, then how does the other person's phone unlock them? How can anyone send me a secure message without already knowing a secret password, right? Well, the answer lies in one of the most brilliant ideas in modern cryptography called public and private keys. Welcome. Here we break down complex tech topics into simple practical explanations so that anyone can understand. So if you enjoy learning AI cybersecurity tech or anything on the internet, consider subscribing because my goal is to reach 1 million this year. Let's dive in. Why we need a better way? Because public and private keys secure communication had a big problem. Imagine Parvati and Ria want to exchange secret messages. They both need the exact same key to lock and unlock those messages. But how do they share that key securely in the first place? If because someone intercepts it while they are exchanging it, every future message can be read. And this is known as the key exchange problem. And so for years, it was one of the biggest challenges in secure communication. Well, meet the two keys, the public key and the private key. In a public key, cryptography solves that problem by giving every user two different keys, a public key which anyone can know, and a private key which only you should ever have. These two keys together are mathematically connected, but they don't do the same job. So think of them as a special pair that only works together. Now, let me give you an example. So imagine you have an mailbox outside your house and anyone can walk up and drop a letter into it. That's your public key. It's meant to be shared, but only you have the key that opens the actual mailbox, and that's your private key. So no matter who drops a letter in, only you can unlock the mailbox and read what's inside. So that's exactly how this secure messaging works as well. So people use your public key to encrypt information for you, but only your private key can decrypt it. So notice something important here is that mailman never needed the private key. So why can't someone just guess the private key? Because it, it's based on the modern mathematics, which basically does the heavy lifting for us. And both the keys are related, but calculating that private key from that public key is designed to be computationally impractical, even using today's tech. So, in other words, knowing someone's public key doesn't reveal their private key. It's a little like knowing the address of someone's house, but that doesn't magically give you the house key, right? It's the same. So where are these keys used? Everywhere. In the secure messaging, online banking, your HTTPS websites, the VPNs, SSH, softwares, your digital wallets, and the browser security. So even when you see this little padlock on the browser, like usually on your left top, public key cryptography is helping those protect that connection or that session. So most people use it every day without realizing it. And yeah, well, for now, you also need to know two fundamental types of encryption. One is called symmetric encryption, which is the same key is used to lock and unlock it. And these are some examples, AES, Cha-Cha-20. And then you have asymmetric encryption, which is what this public and the private key falls into. And there are different other protocols that can be used under asymmetric encryption, but we are only covering public key and private key for now. And there's a separate whole video for what types of encryption are there and their breakdowns and their technologies as well. Feel free to check that out. The link is in the description below. Well, uh, a combo, although on a test, if they ever ask you, you'd always mention symmetric and asymmetric encryption. But but in general, like I was saying yesterday, the Android and the Apple users have different protocols and the mechanisms to connect to each other. So, in a similar fashion, if you use symmetric key with asymmetric encryption, then that would lead us to the hybrid encryption, which will also cover. It's like basically using two different technologies together, and that is what the hybrid encryption would basically entail. Well, for now, public and the private keys, they are a part of asymmetric encryption type. These are the rest of the technologies under it, and four of them are commonly used, like they're very common, and then two of them are still used, and these are the uses for each of the technologies. Again, a separate video or a chapter. All right, so what are the common misconceptions? One of them is that the public key must be kept secret. It doesn't. Sharing it is exactly what we designed it for. And the another misconception is that public and the private keys are passwords. Well, they're not. They're encryption keys generated by a software using mathematical algorithms. So it's like a lot, like a layer after a layer that you just have to peel, sort of, which probably even with today's tech they can, especially given with like multiple protocols layered on top of each other. Although that does introduce some sort of vulnerability into the system, but that's fine. Again, topic for another day. So finally, many people think these keys are also only used by cybersecurity experts. In reality, like I said, we use this in modern technology a lot and we benefit from it every single day without even like sort of realizing it. So, a quick recap on what we have covered so far. Every user or device origin has two keys. The public key can be shared, the private key stays secret. And so people encrypt message using public key, and only your private key can decrypt it. Together, they make this secure connection over the internet possible. Well, hope that was helpful. Give me a thumbs up if it really helps the channel and encourages us to like sort of make more videos. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.